Okay, hopefully this won't be too long of a video. I'm back off the road, just went to Michigan and back. And I had a idea or 16 since I left. And I thought I would make a video before I started doing any work this time, just to bring some of those ideas to light. And these are mostly like a video file. You know how secretaries keep files for records so they can go back and recall them and get the accurate info and all that good stuff and compare notes? Well, that's what this is about. So, that being said, this is if you watch any video about replacing a transom, when it comes time to fiberglass in the new transom, it is a process that's usually one piece from way over there to there and all the way over there. And if you know anything about fiberglass, what I've learned about fiberglass is that if I start here at the thickened resin, peanut butter, and work way out, if I don't stop, if I just let it tack up, I can go to the next layer. I can go to the next step. If I stop and let it harden up, then I've got to sand before I can start over. Got to sand the whole thing. Well, I'm sitting here worrying about this because I've never done this. It sounds like a lot of work. I don't know that I've got the ability to do this whole thing start to finish. And I was worried about having to do a lot of extra sanding work. And most people start with, bonding it to the hull, letting it cure up, and then moving forward. Which is, I don't know why this camera keeps stopping, so bear with me. I still think it keeps the video going. But while I was on the road, I had an idea. And that would be in a perfect world on a normal boat that has a one-piece flat hull. That's not what I've got here. What I have here is a piece that goes here, a couple pieces that go here, a couple pieces that go here, and then a whole nother room over there, and a whole nother room over there, and then I got a board over here I'm going to replace, and a board over here I'm going to replace, and then I got this area here. Those are a bunch of little jobs, little individual jobs. So let's say when it comes time to do this, I just do from here. Hang on a minute, my video stopped. There we go. So let's say I go from here over to here. Non-stop, start to finish. The job is much smaller. And I work my way out all the way through the second coat of gel coat, hypothetically speaking. When I need to do that portion back there, the only sanding I'll have is where those two meet, which would be right here. A little bit of sand work here, and then move that way and make that one job. A little bit of sand work here, move that way and make that one job. A little bit of sand work where those meet before I do the board. A little bit of sand work where those meet before I do the board, and then come back and do the bilge last. Anything and everything I'm doing down here in the bilge would be last. But it would be each individual job. That way, if I'm concerned about not having enough materials, I'll have some idea about how much or how far this stuff goes by that point and how much more I need to get. Things like that. Where am I at now? I did not order 5-gallon buckets like I thought I would of resin and gel coat. And the reason I did not do that is because I don't want that much on hand. I've got enough work that I'm sure I will use it when I get to that part, but I'm not getting to that part till next year. This is all I'm doing between now and September, which is about when I'll lose the temperatures to be messing with this. So this is mid-July, and I plan to have this done by the end of August so I can put the engine back in it in September. What else am I going to do today? Now, I'm not even going to start on this yet. What am I going to do today? Over there sits the engine. When I pulled the engine out, it was not level. It was done with a gantry crane. I had a storage shed, access to a gantry crane, a utility trailer, and a boat, all within a quarter mile of each other. When I pulled the engine out, I got the engine hanging on the gantry crane, put the boat back in the storage shed, grabbed the utility trailer, went back and set that engine on that trailer. When I blocked it up with the wood you see underneath it, I learned that that is very difficult to get correct. So what I want to do today is I want to build an engine cradle to set that on in a much better way. What happened when I put it on this trailer was I crushed the oil filter. Now the oil in it's brand new, so I'm assuming the oil filter is pretty new. And now I've got to go find an oil filter for that engine. I could buy a engine cradle, but to find one that fits my engine, I'd probably spend hours on the internet before I found the right one, and then it's guesswork. If I just build it, which I can do because I now have a welder and a chop saw, which is why I bought that, for those little projects, I would be able to set that and the cradle on that workbench, freeing up that floor space. Is that why I'm doing this today? No, the reason I'm doing this today is because, like I said, I want to put the engine back in it in September, and I cannot put the engine back in it in September until I order a couple items. One would be that oil filter. The other would be the transom seal, which is hanging over here on the wall, right there on that outlet. Right there on the outlet, you see the old transom seal hiding back in there. Well, I want to replace that. That goes on the outside of that part. And the other part is called the drive coupler. It's an item that's bolted to the back of the engine that the shaft from the outdrive actually mechanically connects that engine and the outdrive to the propeller. All that being said, is it bad? I don't think so. What makes them go bad? Misalignment. Over hours, too many hours on it of use. That part does tend to wear. It's there to wear out. It's a piece of rubber and it's not designed to last forever, and every once in a while you got to change them. When is the perfect time to change them? Well, you can't change it unless the engine's out. And this engine's already out. So it makes no sense to me whatsoever to put this engine back in without changing that drive, which is what I intend to get out today. Why? So I can order it and get it on its way, so it'll be sitting there on the shelf when I get ready to put it back in. All that being said, I do not have the gantry crane down the street and around the corner like I had before. So when I get ready to put it back in, I'll have an engine leveler and a cradle, and I'll set that engine right there in the back of that thing with my shop crane over there. And I will hook up to the boat, and I will take the boat, the engine, and the Yukon all in one shot to wherever, including that gantry crane I know of 100 miles from here if I can't find one closer. And that way I don't have to use the utility trailer. I can make it all in one trip, and it will ride without crushing anything, and it'll be ready to go back in the engine. So I'm gonna build a engine cradle today, and I will come back to sanding on that when that gets done. I have another sawhorse that I have to build today, because I learned that that little box only comes with enough of those little mounts for one, not two. I thought it would come with for a complete set, and a complete set to me would be two, and it did not. And I'd also missed on my math, and my wood was not enough wood, so I had to go back and get more wood and another box of those things, and I'm going to build that one today. What else am I going to do today? That is a air compressor that I bought, and it has a grommet, a rubber grommet on the bottom of the gas tank that every time I turn it on and off, turn the gas on and off, that rubber grommet comes off of my hand, spilling gas everywhere. And what do I have? I got a battery, I got a key, I got a starter solenoid. Last thing I want to do is have gas everywhere and throw a spark. So I want to fix that today. I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to run to town and see if this guy has one, see if he has any ideas. There's a small engine repair guy down there. I also need to address whether or not he can rebuild that carburetor or get me a new carburetor, because currently, to make it run, I have to leave it on choke. I'd like to also correct that before I actually plan to use that to sandblast the rest of my outdrive over there. Let's see, what else am I going to do today? I got a broken grinder wheel over there because that got knocked over in the move, so I got to replace that grinder wheel. I will replace it with a wire wheel because I never felt like I needed two grinder wheels to begin with, and I might mount it on my workbench so I don't have to worry about knocking it over anymore. Might not, I don't know yet. What else is on my brain on this trip home? Wow, that's a darn good start. Oh, I'm also going to pick up 8 sheets of Luan and 4 smaller boards. I'm going to set them right there on that trailer just to keep them out of the way until I'm ready to use them. But one day I hope to use those really light boards, really cheap boards, to build a sandblast cabinet so that I can walk in it. It'll be sitting on plastic and it'll catch all my media instead of letting it go everywhere, and I'll be able to physically put on all my gear, including my hood and my respirator and my coveralls, and walk into the box and do all the sandblasting I want. And when I'm done, I can take those Luan boards and use them for forms to build these other pieces that are rotting down here when I get ready to do these. And when and the reason I would do that is because they're cheap pieces of Luan instead of expensive pieces of plywood. And if I mess up making the form, then I'm messing up a piece of Luan. And when I get that done correctly, then I can use that as a form to actually cut the plywood. So that's the current plan. I'm gonna go buy some supplies and welder and see if I can accomplish a few of these little tasks. And then I'm gonna get back to sanding on that sucker, because that's got a lot of sand work to do and I am running out of daylight. So there's the video. It's probably the only one I'm going to make this time around. That is video number 17. Have a great day.